Hi everyone, I'm Joanna Dela Peña of Artsy Cutsy, and today we'll be doing the fundamentals of paper cutting online video. So just a quick background about myself. I've been doing paper cutting since 2014, and my brand Artsy Cutsy was established a year after that. I was self-taught with the help of research and tons of patience. So in this video, I will show you how paper cutting is done and share some of my techniques and tips on how you can do paper cutting less of a pain in the neck. But before I start and get into the cutting part, let me first go over the tools we'll be needing in this type of art. So here I have a piece of paper, a cutting mat, and of course the craft knife. I have two types of knives, an X-Acto knife with a number 11 blade and an NT cutter knife with a 30 degrees blade. These are both available in some bookstores and hardwares or craft supply shops. So now, to put on the blade, just twist the top part to loosen the holder and place the blade, then tighten it back. And there. So just make sure the blade's secure and tightened well so it won't fall off while you're in the middle of cutting. It's the same thing for the NT cutter. Just loosen the top part, place the blade, and tighten it back. Next I have here is the paper. Since we're in the Halloween vibe, I'm using a black sheet of paper. Any paper will do, but I personally prefer a 160 GSM paper, since it's not too thin or too thick. The problem with higher GSM or a cardstock type of paper is it can easily break the tip of your blade and it requires more pressure when cutting, which will tire your hand more quickly. And lastly, the cutting mat. Any brand and size is fine. This one I have is a 16 by 20 WeArt Memory Keepers self-healing mat. So now we're ready to do the cutting part. I have here are two designs that I made and printed out on a piece of paper that I prepared for this video. Here you can see that the Happy Halloween design is all connected to each other. This one is actually where I'll be cutting out the background or the white part, keeping all the drawings and letters intact. For the second design, you can see that all the drawings are not connected. Here, I'll be cutting out naman the black parts and leaving the background. So now, I'll just have to stick these papers to the black sheet, which will be the final piece, and then we're ready to start cutting. When I cut, first thing I do is start with the tiniest and inner parts of the design, then work my way through the bigger and outer parts. Remember to take your time and no need to rush, as this craft really requires a lot of patience and time. Also, remember that when you're cutting, make sure you have ample space to move around your paper, hands, and arms. It makes it easier to move the paper as you cut, especially on curved shapes. For me, paper cutting is truly fun, though it's very time consuming, especially if your piece is intricate and has lots of details. It is also one of my stress relievers, but sometimes it can be a stressor too. But honestly, the hardest part of what I do is coming up with a design. Pero pag once tapos na yung drawing and designing part and start na ng cutting, ang saya ko na. There's actually another way of designing and cutting, and that is you draw your design on the back of your final sheet. In this video kasi, what I did was I had an extra paper for my design. I usually do this style kapag may letters, since it's hard to do letterings ng mirror effect if I were to do it sa back ng paper. So it's totally up to you if you want to draw or not. Some of my previous students uses a pattern from an adult coloring book for practices. So here you can see that the back of the cat wasn't cut through. So since I remember the pattern naman of how the design goes, so I'll just cut it and then we're good to go. Minsan may ganyan, so we just have to go back to the design and then know how it goes. Yeah. So there, we're almost done. A little bit more cleaning up to do. And we're done with our first paper cut piece. Now I have here is my second design I did. This one will be a little different as to the first one. Kasi here, we'll be cutting out the drawings naman and leaving the background. Unlike sa unang design, we took out the background and left all the drawings, diba? But first, I have to do a revision for the RIP. Since I'll be cutting out the entire tombstone, I have to put a line for the RIP to stay intact sa piece, or else mawawala rin din siya. So now I'll start cutting, and unahin ko na yung RIP part since the most delicate dito sa design na to. So now we're on the last part of the drawing or design, and we're done. So here you go, the two paper cut designs I did with two different cutting styles and techniques for this online video. I really hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial and learned a thing or two. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message and I'd be happy to help. Oh, and would love to see your work, so please remember to share and tag at Areté Ateneo in Instagram for a chance to have your work featured in their social media account. Also, please follow my account on Instagram, Artsy Cutsy, and on Facebook, Artsy Cutsy PH. Thank you again and have a nice day. Bye!